Oh, right.
Correct.
I just can't.
And again, Rolf is gonna forward you these drawings, which you'll be able to pull up yourself, and you'll see it'll be much more clear at that point.
I have a question for you about the process, I guess, at this point. Are you still intending to have meetings with the board or the public only, or what is your anticipated process from here on out?
Are you talking about in informing the public about the referendum, or talking specifically about approving or this concept?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just wondered, I know that you guys met on the 12th of January, and that wasn't an open meeting, so I didn't know if you were planning to continue to do that, or moving forward if you were going to have only.
That meeting had really nothing to do with us. That's a volunteer committee. We were just there providing information, what we do. Basically, this is saying kind of criteria information. That's all we did. So that committee is doing its own thing. At this point in time, now, we would work directly with the board to develop any informational material you feel is appropriate to be able to communicate what the referendum is about, why you're doing it, what the amount is, to inform the public that you are actually having a referendum. So we'll be spending time with the board specifically on that between now and the time of the referendum, and basically working in your direction to develop those pieces. These ideas, both the first concept that we showed of information here and school here, and this concept are important because there'll be images that will be included on your website, in informational brochures, and any other communications you decide to have about the referendum. And so that's why we're trying to complete this as reasonably fast as possible, so that this information is ready for you to use in communicating with the public. So did that answer your question?
Maybe. I just wondered, because I know that we had a list of dates that were scheduled on here and as part of the contract. And so I just wondered, we were told at the last meeting by two of the board members that you guys are just going to meet with that other group pro bono. So I just wondered
those dates were established, and you looked at that before there was a group that decided to have their own yes campaign, develop their own political action committee and have their own yes campaign, which we can't be a part of. But we assumed when this was put together that it was going to be the same process last time, where there would just be an informational only campaign. And so that's what these dates were developed around. Then that paradigm changed. The group decided to volunteer to be a yes campaign because we're atheists of the board. We can't be involved with that group other than providing information like we could anybody in the public. And so now we have to work directly with the board in however you decide to promote and inform this referendum. Promote it, but inform the public. So a new schedule will have to be crafted and drafted, and that's our next step after this meeting, actually, to make sure that we're meeting with you or however you want to do that in order to get that information and so you can use it effectively.
How soon after the board approves this and then also approves the drawing that we saw before, can we get something consolidated for our company?
We're actually probably gonna start working on that between now and then, also in crafting an informational brochure that you can use, and then it's just a matter of you approving that so that you can have something, very quickly to be able to have out there.
I just wanted to afterwards be able to meet.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that everyone in our community has everything that they need to make an informed decision one way or the other. It's up to them. And I just wanted to make sure that we do it as quickly as we can once we've looked at everything and said, yes, this is what we want to go with.
So as soon as we get that approval from you, we can incorporate these documents into that information, and then it will really be. So that's the point.
I was just under the impression that each time we have something to go forward with, that the board would be informed of that and have the information. So I would just ask that as part of this contract, I think the board should be privy to all the details prior to coming to a public meeting so that we have time to review it, just like
Yeah.
tonight, so that we have got that available to us.
Yeah, we did not present anything at the public meeting. Actually, what we talked about at the public meeting, is that we can't give any information out to the public until the board approves it. The board will be basically distributing it. So any groups out there that want any information will be 100% accessible from the district. We don't distribute it to them. And we were basically there kind of laying the ground rules on what we could and could not do. So, we don't work for
I just
them,
thought
we
it was nice.
work for you guys, and we're
Well, you
agents
do,
of
and
this.
actually, I mean, with the board not knowing about that meeting, or the full board, I think that, that's what caused some confusion and some issues, so.
We were there only to inform that group of what we could do and what we could not do.
Made it clear that everybody on the board is okay with you going to that meeting. So you did, absolutely you did.
Not the meeting of the 12th.
The only
We
meeting
were
I've
not
been
made
to,
aware.
so the only meeting that I've been to, and the meeting that I brought the information back to Brian, was the one that I specifically asked that you were at and said, is it okay for the rest of the board for you to attend this? Are you fine with that? And you were one of the people that said yes.
You're confused on your dates. You came to us after the meeting and told us that you had attended, and we discussed it afterwards.
I told you that invitation to it.
An invitation, exactly. It wasn't it was a private meeting, not a public meeting, which we are paying for.
But you were still aware. There's only two board
I
members.
was aware of the date.
That's the whole point. And I said, you're more than welcome to go instead of it if you want. If you chose not to.
That's not true.
Anything else?
Transparency for the future would be good,
Yep, absolutely.
particularly the taxpayer dollars.
I agree 100%. Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
When do you anticipate presenting this and the revised middle school option to the community? And having is there a plan to have a community meeting?
There is.
I think what we'd like to do is get the board to approve the concept. Again, it's just a concept. It's not a final product. Whether or not whichever version gets approved, if either one looks anything close to what it looks like now, it may or may not. But we just don't know. It's conceptual. This is what you can do for the dollars, and we're giving you what the images could potentially look like as well. We're looking to come back on the 8th. I think there's a board meeting on the 8th.
16.
Okay, we'd like to come in, if we can get a board meeting before that, because time is of the essence, to come back and then try to get either approval, or if there's any tweaks that we need to make to any of the documents, we can make those constructively. Once with approval, we would like to then, as quickly as possible, schedule a community summit to invite everybody in and to view what the board has approved at that point. And both options would be presented and shown with, with as much clarity as we could at that point.
And we'll set that date as soon as possible. We can set that date tomorrow. So, yeah. And so, our intention then is to put together another schedule of activities that now fits the board structure, completely outside and separate of any other committee work, that you approve and say, okay, now we're
I have a quick question about the pre-K through 8. On the original, on option 2, we had the district offices at the front of the building, and with our change in our superintendent structure, principal structure, etc., we might have the availability to move that back to the high school instead of having it here. And I'm just saying that I would like to see the drawing without those up there, because that was loud. Yeah, so I mean, but at the same time, though, we are having enough changes that that's not something.
If we can get in front of the board on, I think the 8th is a Monday, or if it's the 9th, which is a Tuesday, that next Saturday coming up. if that's not too soon. I think that's the sooner the better to do that. So we can, we can talk about that and see if that date works.
We'll put together a schedule for that. Yeah.
We have a few more slides to show. Is there any other questions on these layouts here?
And then the next are just a series of potential images based upon this concept, showing sort of the quality and character of what would be possible to do. This would be a brick and block building. However the colors might be, it's completely, it's random at this point in time. So go to the next slide. There's a little bit more overview perspective from above, which shows the entrance. You can see why don't you take your, there you go, the front entrance right there. And you can see the two-story wing where the administration office windows are below, and then the music room is above. And then you can just see back in the corner, that would be the library. And then you go down the other wing, that's the classrooms with the pre-KK on the first floor, and first, second, third on the second floor. And then if you continue on back, then that wing would be the gym wing. And then just another different view showing the library space, as Chuck mentioned, maybe a little bit higher roof for that than the other first floor spaces. Again, just another close-up view of the entrance, potentially. Next. Another view showing the administration area and the music room above. And then that's just a front elevation of that building. So those are the concept images. We can change them however you want. They just happen to sort of correlate with that concept plan right now. And how the plan changes, how the classrooms may change in size, will probably dictate how the window configuration finally is, those kinds of things. So I guess the question would be, any questions on the quality and character of the building image right now?
Chuck, when you're getting the square footage of the actual lot of the school, could you also give us the square footage of what the playground area and the demolished tier of this area is? Just out of curiosity, I'm curious as to what it's going to be open.
That's going to be changing and moving with respect to how everything comes together too. So you get to some concepts.
We can share it with you for what that is.
For what it is.
Yeah, that's all I
Sure.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Just wanted
The question was sharing additional information about square footage for the playground areas and those kinds of things based on this concept, and we'll get that information to you. Any comments, questions, thoughts? Tight fit, but it will fit. And this is all based on that budget amount that we talked about. That would be our preference, yes, if we could do that. Could be the 8th or the 9th, either one. That would be our preference, or as soon as possible. For sure.
I have no questions. Let me know.
I would rather it be Monday than Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be fine on that Monday.
Sure, that's fine. Whatever's convenient.
I should have forward warning this much.
I'll be here at 5. Any final questions? Thank you.
can we have a motion to approve the preparation of these architectural concept drawings?
I make a motion to approve the preparation of architectural conceptual drawings configuring Midland Middle School into a pre-K through 8 building in the event of failure of the March 15, 2016 school building referendum.
Is there a second?
Are you stating then that that is the one and only option that is going forward with?
Necessarily.
I can't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Not necessarily. She wanted to know if that, does that say that that is exactly what we're going to do? We are approving the preparation of that.
Because we still could approve
That's
the
right.
addition to the high school.
So we need to, yeah, we need to think about this for February. That's what we want to do.
Okay. I mean, which we will do on February 28th. We will approve one or the other. Is that what we're planning on doing?
Second.
February 28th.
No, not yet. There's a board meeting on the 16th.
Oh, 16th, sorry. I mean, is that what we're, well, let's approve this first, then I'll ask the question.
I'll second.
We'll call vote. Weber?
Yes.
Snickel?
Yes.
Tuzak?
Yes.
Cardinal?
Yes.
Bunyan?
Yes.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Kimball?
Yes. Okay, now my question is, on our school board meeting of the 16th, we as a board are going to decide what we would do in case the referendum would fail, whether it would be to add on here for pre-K through 8, or do the option 6 with the high school. Pardon?
But yes, we would have,
I
we
mean,
would have other options if we want to
One and
follow
two.
that, yeah.
but we'll try and
We
approve.
want to see what this is going to be.
Right, but then we'll,
Make a decision on the condition first.
so that everybody will know.
I thought in the last meeting that we talked about option 6 probably wouldn't be approved by the state.
Exactly.
So really, we're just looking at pre-K through 8. They were shaking their heads yes. No.
That's just using the construction bonds.
No, no.
No, for any life safety bonds.
Right, right, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't decide that we thought that was the best option.
But, well,
We get paid for it though.
yeah, it's not approved.
If the referendum fails, the only option you have is to issue life safety bonds to replace Midland Elementary.
Okay.
The only way the state will approve, my understanding, what I've heard from the state, is it has to be a similar grade configuration. Option 6 involves moving 6, 7, and 8 out of this building into the high school and putting an addition onto it. Then moving students in pre-K through 4 out of the elementary over here. It's going to be very difficult to get an addition with that configuration past the State Board of Education and authorization for life safety bonds.
Right. But could we issue regular bonds to do that? Don't we have the power to do that as long as, I mean, that 4.1 million there, as long as it's not, whatever percent of the voters don't object?
You're referring to working cash bonds.
Right.
You don't have the bonding capacity to issue $4.1 million in working cash bonds. It's 85% of the previous year's extension for the education fund. And if I'm not mistaken, this year's projected extension is about $3 million. And on top of that, if it's a working cash bond, you would have to net any outstanding bonds that are working cash bonds. Right now, I believe there's 600,000 that we have. You don't have the bonding capacity.
So the only option we have is to do the addition here.
That's right, pretty close.
We just voted to do that.
No, you didn't vote to do that. You voted to develop conceptual drawings to reconfiguring this building to a pre-K through 8.
That one would be our only option.
More than likely, yes.
Just so we're clear, on the 8th, we're going to see them, and on the 16th, we're going to vote, correct?
Now, you have other options. You can pursue another referendum to add on to the high school. I'm just telling you.
So maybe the children are clearly need to get out of school. Really on the 16th, if it comes down to we're going to be voting, we'll have a decision for the public after that, that they will either have an option for a new school, or the option will be for an additional clearing cut. So the public will be voting on that. Be prepared for that, for the most part.
Now, also what you could do is if you prefer option 6, you can submit that to the state board and see if they will approve it. I've heard conflicting opinions on it. My opinion is they won't approve it.
I don't think we have the time to wait.
Yeah.
I don't either. I agree with you. You don't have time to do that. We've already voted to approve for them to develop conceptual drawings. That's all you approved the architects to do.
All right, we have one other thing, action item. To accept the resignation of Superintendent Ralph Severson effective 6/30/16.
I make a motion to accept the resignation of Midland Superintendent Ross Severson effective 6/30/16.
I'll second.
Roll call vote. Kimball? Wheeler?
Yes, very regretfully.
Bunyan?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes, with regrets.
Weber?
Yes.
Tuzak? Cargill?
Regretfully, yes.
Motion passes.
Next item on the agenda is to adjourn to closed session. I need a motion at this time to adjourn to closed session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act to discuss the following agenda item. To consider matters pertaining to the compensation, employment, and performance of a specific employee of the public body, 5 Illinois School Code 120/21.
Make a motion to consider matters pertaining to the compensation, employment, and performance of specific employees of the public body, 5 ILC 120-21.
Is there a second?
I second.
Roll call vote. Bunyan?
Yes.
Tuzak?
Yes.
Kimball?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Stickle?
Yes.
Cargill? Yes. Wheeler?
Yes. Shall we adjourn to the